Since 2016, the United Kingdom has seen 7 different prime ministers. In the last decade alone, 6 separate leaders have walked into Downing Street. This constant turnover has left the public exhausted. Voters describe themselves as fed up with a political system they feel has failed to meet their basic needs. Now, Andy Burnham has accepted the King's invitation to form a new government. Standing before the country, he acknowledged the weight of that legacy. He argued that the recent instability is a symptom of a deeper problem. In his view, the political chaos of the 2020s traces back to a specific economic model established 40 years ago. He has proposed a circuit breaker to pull the country out of this cycle. To understand that plan, we have to look at the 1980s economic experiment that he believes fractured the system in the first place. Burnham identifies 3 specific shifts from the 1980s. First, political power was centralized. Decision-making authority was pulled away from local councils and consolidated within Westminster. Second, the economy was privatized. Public services providing life's essentials were sold to private owners. Third, the country deindustrialized. Huge sections of the manufacturing base were closed down. These 3 shifts left many communities in a state of long-term decline. Because power was held in London, these regions lacked the legal authority or the budget to rebuild their own economies when the factories closed. By removing these local levers of power, the 1980s model dismantled the country's ability to fix regional problems at the source. This left the broader system vulnerable when national instability began to mount decades later. The circuit breaker model is designed to reverse that flow. The first step is pushing political power out of Westminster and back into every postcode in the land. The plan then moves to bring essential services back under stronger public control. This is intended to make utilities and housing more affordable by shielding them from market volatility. To address deindustrialization, the government will use public procurement to back British industry and build a new generation of council homes. To prove the government's new priorities, Burnham issued an immediate instruction the moment he walked through this door, a new mandate to end rough sleeping across the country, pairing that with immediate cost of living relief, education reform to help young people, and expanded mental health support. This model works by moving specific powers and funding out of the capital and placing them directly into local hands. The goal is to build what Burnham calls a preventative state. Rather than paying for the costs of social failure after they occur, the government aims to invest in people's success to prevent failure from happening. To carry this out, the government has committed to a 10-year plan. This timeline is intended to move the political culture away from daily point scoring and toward long-term problem solving. This timeline requires an immense amount of patience from a public that is already exhausted by years of political turnover. If successful, this would mark the conclusion of the 40-year macroeconomic experiment that defined modern Britain. Success for this government depends on showing the public that politics can solve problems again. Burnham's final challenge is to turn that results-based record into a new sense of national purpose.